Morning students, today we are going to start new chapter, that is flow of heat. To understand what flow of heat, we have to perform an activity. So let's understand what we have to do here. First of all, we have taken here an iron rod and one candle. So dear students, let's see the arrangement of molecules in this iron rod. They are tightly packed. When we hit the first end of this iron rod, that it is denoted F1. Second end I have denoted F2. When we hit the first end of iron rod, this molecule will get heated and this will transfer heat to another molecule. Now again this molecule will transfer heat to next molecule. This process will continue and finally heat will reach this molecule to the final last molecule F1 to F2. So here what we observe, heat flows from a body at a higher temperature to one at a lower temperature, or you may say that where it is hotter region and here it is colder region. So heat flows from hotter region to colder region. Heat can be transferred from one place to another by three different ways. First conduction, second convection, and third one is radiation. So let's understand what conduction is. Conduction is the process of transfer of heat in which heat travels from molecule to molecule from the hot end towards the cold end. The molecules themselves do not travel from one end to the other. To understand conduction, we can perform an activity here. So to perform this activity, again we have to take an iron rod and we have to fix some thumb tags on this iron rod. When we hit this iron rod, the first end gets heated, the wax melts and the thumb tags fall off. We will find that the thumb tag nearest to the end being heated falls off first and the farthest thumb tag fall off last. You can see in this figure. We can see here when one end of the rod is heated, the molecules at that end starting vibrating faster. They hit nearby molecules and make them vibrate. These molecules again hit the neighboring molecules. In this way, the vibrations and hence heat gets transferred from the hot end to the cold end. Dear students, we have to understand heat is however transferred from one object to another by conduction only if first the two objects are in contact and the next their temperatures are not the same. Then only heat can flow one molecule to another. Now let's understand conductors, insulators of heat. So what are conductors? Actually, materials which allow heat to be conducted through them easily are called good conductors of heat. For example, basically almost all metals are good conductors of heat. You may take example, iron, copper, silver, aluminium are good conductors of heat. Here silver is said to be the best conductor of heat. Now come to insulator. What insulator means? Materials which do not allow heat to be conducted through them easily are called bad conductors of heat, or you may say insulator. Insulators are here, wood, plastics and glass are insulators, or you may say non-conductors also. They can't conduct heat. Now to understand conductors and insulators, we have to perform an activity. So first of all, we have to take some hot water in a tumbler and take a steel spoon, a glass rod, a plastic scale, a wooden stick and a piece of thick copper wire. Dip one end of each of these in the hot water. Now wait for 2 to 3 minutes and then touch the other end of each article with your hand. Which one become hot and which ones do not, you can find it easily and you can judge which material is the good conductors and which one is the insulators. Now perform another activity. to show water is a bad conductor of heat. So first of all, we have to half fill a test tube with cold water. Wrap a piece of ice in wire gauze and drop it in the tube. We see it will sink in the bottom. Now we have to heat from the top end of the test tube. The water soon begins to boil at the top, but what we saw, the ice below is still not fully melted. Dear students, this activity shows that water is a bad conductor of heat. It doesn't easily conduct heat from the top of the bottom of the test tube. That is why ice not melted easily. Here most liquids are bad conductors of heat, but exception is mercury, which is good conductor of heat. Now uses of good and bad conductors of heat. Here bad conductors means insulators. There are different uses of good and bad conductors in our day-to-day activities. So let's understand it. First, we use good conductors of heat wherever we want heat to be transferred fast. For example, cooking utensils are made up of metals such as brass or aluminium, which are good conductors of heat. Though silver and copper are the best conductors of heat, but we can't use for the cooking utensils. Why? Because they are expensive. Next, we use bad conductors of heat wherever we don't want heat to be transferred quickly, or the places where we do not want heat to be lost to or gained from the surroundings. Thus, handles of cooking utensils are made up of bad conductors of heat, such as wood or plastic. Why? Because they don't get heated up while cooking and can be held comfortably. Now next, jute and sawdust are bad conductors of heat. We cover ice with a jute cloth or sawdust to prevent it from gaining heat from the surroundings and melting. Next, refrigerators have double walls you must have seen at your home, with the space inside filled with an insulating material. Why? Because this prevents heat of the surroundings from reaching the inside of the refrigerator. Now next, in winter, you must wear woolen cloth. Why? You compare with cotton cloth, you will find that the wool fibers have much more space between them. These get filled with air, which is bad conductor of heat, or you may say insulator. Thus, wool and air together prevent the heat from our bodies from escaping out.